But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Once you were not a people, but now you are God's people. Once you had not received mercy, but now you have received mercy.
Yeah, verse 10 is just incredible. Incredible. To me, as I read it, I mean, wow, just juicy. You Are is the series we are in right now, and we are ending it today, and we'll probably continue moving through First Peter in March. You are young. We started off a couple weeks ago with this idea that you are young. And I did my best to bring you back to your first day of realizing that you were a child of God. Last week, we looked at this idea that you are a spiritual house. I tossed out this idea. It wouldn't have been received as an idea, this notion that you are wanted and you are needed by God. Now, I know in our circles, when we say we are wanted by God, we see that and we get that. And I took it a step farther, and I had a feeling when I did that it may not sit easy in some people. But I just want to ask you a couple logical questions about this idea of God needing you. What was Adam's purpose in the garden? God needed Adam to rule over, to manage his creation. What was Eve's purpose in the garden? Is to fulfill a need that apparently God did not fulfill. Adam was lonely. And then through the fall and through sin, we lost that connection with God, that relationship, that life with God. And God sent his one and only Son to die for you, to purchase you back into his family because he wanted you. And we said last week, you are a spiritual house, the house and home of the Father. And so you can I draw the conclusion, then therefore he has determined at the price in which he paid for me and the price in which he paid for you, he also needs you. This week, we're looking at 9 and 10. You are a chosen race. And I understand this word chosen. As soon as you use it in a sermon, and circles like ours can just flare up and send people into different directions. And we're not technically going down this path of what we would call predestination today, although that is kind of filtered into just about every teaching. But this notion that you are a chosen race, you could slim that title down and just say you are chosen. You make decisions every day, all day long. You are choosing things. You're choosing from what you will eat in the morning, to what time you wake up in the morning, to where you will go to church, to who you're going to call when you get home, and how you will spend your time, and how you will spend your money. And these choices reveal something about you. They reveal what you value, what you want, and what you need in life. You are chosen. You don't want to be in third grade, when they pick the two captains, to pick soccer teams, and there's 19 of you, and you've been taught that odd numbers means that there's going to be a straggler at the end. You didn't want to be that 19th person that was picked last because you knew you were just kind of leftovers. This, Chad, personal to you? He gave me fodder for today. You didn't want to be that leftover guy, that leftover girl, because everybody knows you stand out, right? As not good enough for any team, but you have to be placed on a team. Oh, by the way, John Martin, you know who John Martin is? The CEO of Taco Bell, who ushered in. He died this week. He brought in the 59-cent soft taco, and he turned that industry into a multi-billion-dollar company. So when you find yourself at Taco Bell, get some extra cheese in honor of him. All right, John Martin. My wife, there's points to everything I say and do up here. This is not the bowl of Skittles, not to test you to see, are you going to eat my Skittles? My wife sent me into the dollar store the other day with a $10 bill to buy 2 things. Dangerous. Why would you do that? Because I'm coming out with 9 things, right? So I come out with her foil and paper plates and lots of Skittles. Problem is, this was a special night that we were going to have. You catch my drift. All right? I mean, we were going to. Look, this is important to know this because it did not turn out that way. Because of the Skittles. I come out with Skittles and we're all locked in on, we're going to have a good night together. And I got the share size bag and, it used to be called king size. But I can't share that. I just eaten them all and I guiltily asked her, do you want my Skittles? And she said no. And I'm just chomping on them. And I could feel the tension building between us, but nothing's being said. I'm just eating Skittles. And it's dark, it's nighttime, and I just feel tension building. You guys, you know what I'm talking about. And I said, man, maybe she really does want Skittles, and she's just afraid to tell me. And so you can really have some. It'll be all right. No, when we get home and we get back in the bedroom, there's no fireworks. I said, what's going on? She goes, because you chew like a cow. I said, what? And I'm thinking to myself, man, those are good Skittles. You would chew like a cow too if you were eating them. Well, the end of the night. I saw this on, we're getting to 1 Peter. I saw on the fire station by my house this sign that says safe place. You know what a safe place is? Where you drop off your baby if you don't want it. You have, I think, the window of opportunity is 24 hours, maybe 7 days. These safe places were established back in, I think, 2001. Before they were established, I was looking at the stats of how many babies were dropped off. It's an average of 25, 30 a year in Florida. Before these safe places were established, there was about 3 or 4 abandoned babies they would find a year in woods or in trash bags or whatever. Ironically, now the rate has gone up to these safe places receiving 25-ish babies a year. Plus, they're still being abandoned in woods and in trash bags. And now we have the discussion, do infants deserve to live? It's a tragic world, but it's what the world has to offer. I was in Romania several years back, and we were at an orphanage, St. Joseph's Orphanage, and it was astounding. And when you walked in to a room of 40, 50 infants, and maybe some toddlers, and there's not a sound. There's not a sound, guys. Quiet as it is in here. You start to wonder, are there really babies in these beds? They said yes. And I said, well, why are they not crying? They've wrapped these babies up in multiple blankets, multiple diapers, and they set them in the bed. They walk away. And they said the babies eventually learn that crying is of no value. They've been left behind. They've been abandoned. But you are chosen. See, what the world has to offer. And it's not to anyone's shame. Because I don't know what it's like to be a parent who's struggling with wanting my child. I don't know that feeling. So I can't look down upon. I don't know what it's like to not want a child, but what the world has to offer. But you have been chosen. You are a chosen race. You let those words sink in. You have been chosen. And we'll talk real quickly here by who. Because the reality is the world can't choose you. You're born into it. There's nothing to be chosen to. There's no belonging in a world that you're going to die and leave one day. This world has no hope. Nothing of reality in this world to live for. And much like a child who's left at day one in front of a hospital or a fire department, they'll never know. They will grow up knowing that they're different, but they won't understand the sense of being rejected to the extent of being, and this is similar to we are born into this world with blinders on. Everybody looking for a place to belong. And you have been chosen. You are a chosen race. You have been chosen. A royal priesthood. A holy nation. These are incredibly uplifting words, encouraging words for people who have been abandoned by the world. A people for his own possession. You have been chosen to be his own possession. That you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of the darkness and into his marvelous light. And just think about the implication of that statement, that you haven't just been chosen, but you've been chosen because you're needed. Because you have a purpose. And that purpose is to proclaim to those who are lost and have been abandoned the excellencies of a Father who has called you out of dark places and brought you into light. You have been chosen because you have a purpose to explain to the world that they are wanted by a loving Father. You are chosen so that you can proclaim the excellency of the Father who chose you. Which tells me, if I'm proclaiming it, that somehow, some way, the Father's using that proclamation to continue choosing, to continue calling out of the darkness into the light those who have been abandoned, who know no mercy. You have purpose in your workplace. If there's people around you, a person, a soul around you, your purpose is alive and thriving. The purpose that God has put in you to proclaim, and we can't box in this word proclaim. Yes, verbally, yes, with our actions, yes, with our love, yes, but I believe most importantly, love and mercy, having compassion on the afflicted, those who have been abandoned. Those who are in the terror of the night. Once you were not a people. Once you were left at a safe place. And look, man, thank God for these safe places. That our society has erected structures so that babies who are not wanted can be handed over to the loving arms of people who will have them, take them, and care for them. Once you were not a people. You belonged nowhere to no one. You were not a people. He's talking with plurality in his mind, and I'm bringing this down to you as a person. You were not a person with no home and no family. We exist as a church family to tell you you have a place in God. You are not a people, but now you are God's people. You are God's people. You were not a people, but now you are God's people. Once you had not received mercy, but now you have received mercy. Once you have not received mercy, but now you have received mercy. What is mercy? Don't answer it. Mercy is not getting what you deserve. If this is your definition in which you live by and what you see mercy is, it is not getting what you deserve. I want to hash this out for a moment because this has all the implications of you proclaiming his excellencies to those who are lost in the darkness. Mercy is often put not getting what you deserve. What is inferred in that statement? Getting what you deserve. What is being inferred? What is being communicated? That you deserve punishment. I'm not saying yes or no on that, but let's just talk about the definition of mercy, that you deserve punishment. Why would you deserve punishment? Well, because you are a sinner. So mercy is you as a sinner not getting what you deserve, which is punishment. I mean, that's how I've translated that statement for the many years I lived by it. But what is punishment? Punishment is a judgment that you are a sinner, and then the condemnation of that sin, and then the consequences of living in that sin. Punishment is the full payment of your sin and your wrongdoing. So the definition of mercy being not getting what you deserve is actually contradictory to itself, because in the statement, you are not getting what you deserve is judgment. You have been judged a sinner. But you have been set free from your sins. You are no longer a sinner, you are a child of God. Okay, yes, we do things wrong, we act wrong, we act in accordance to the flesh, which we would call sin, and I'm not disagreeing with that, but that is the old nature which has been crucified with Christ, and it has no place in the Father's home. It has been abandoned by the Father to die in the woods. So mercy, by definition, not getting what you deserve, actually carries out that definition by judging you. It just simply is not slapping a sentencing or a condemnation onto it. But regardless, okay, just logically speaking, that's not what mercy is, because at the core of what mercy is, if you go to the Greek and we dig into the root of the words and how it's been used, that doesn't even show up. I think that is a modern day way of defining a church word, mercy, or a biblical word. Mercy is your compassion or love aroused when you see the affliction of someone else. Mercy is, and I want to throw in the word instinctive. Instinctive compassion and love that is aroused within you when you see the affliction, the pain and suffering of someone else. Just test both definitions. Go home, test them, and if you think I'm wrong, that's fine with me. But let's expose both of them. Bring them under the light of the gospel and see which one stands. Once you had not received mercy, compassion, and love in your state of affliction, you didn't receive it. You lived a life that did not receive mercy. This world cannot offer it. We are all starting at the same plane. The people in your life, they are also in affliction. This is where we back up to the previous verse. You can, once you do receive mercy, but now you have received mercy, now you can proclaim the excellency of the one who gives it and begin to deliver mercy to those who have been abandoned. What is the affliction? The affliction, pain, and suffering, absolutely, but it's all caused by sin, an entrapment, a captivity. You received no mercy, but now you have, because the Father in heaven saw your affliction, which was caused, it could literally be your sin. Holding back his child, taking captive his child, not letting his child go, abandoning his child at these so-called safe places, but really not caring for the child. I got a feeling, if I'm anything like you, you've uttered these words at some point. Why doesn't anybody care? Why have they all left me out to dry? There's no one left. They've all walked away. I have a feeling if you're anything like me, you have thought this. And you have thought this in seasons of your life where you needed help. You needed compassion. You needed love. You needed mercy. You needed somebody to step in and say, hey, it's going to be okay, even though you don't feel okay. I have a feeling you've been there or you are there. And he says, once you have received you had not received mercy because the world can't give it. The world cannot deliver the mercies of God. And it leaves us feeling abandoned when we are searching for our significance amongst those who have been abandoned by the world also. We all have this desire in life to be loved, to be cherished, to know we are significant. We are born with that hunger. It's hard to feed somebody when you yourself have no food. Verse 9, though. Once you receive mercy, now you can proclaim the excellencies of the one who called you out of darkness, out of your affliction, and into light. And this is the case. If you believe in Jesus and you have faith in him, you've been called out. And you might need to tell yourself that. Yeah, my situation is horrible. Everybody has left me, but my Father has chosen me. I have been called out of my affliction. I have risen above it, and we are together victorious because of him. I heard this this week. I was at the gym eavesdropping for sermon illustrations. Not really, but this was a very loud conversation in the gym, and it was easy to hear it. This lady who worked at a nursing home said this was a common problem. So the family would bring in their elderly parent who would have some health issues, but not 1 foot out the door, and drop their parent off at the nursing home. And the parent would be left behind and would live 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And the family never came to visit. You know, when they came to visit was after the parent died. And the assumption is just to see if there was an inheritance left behind. This is what the world has to offer for mercy. Self-protection. So no condemnation and judgment, but as an illustration, we abandon babies at day one and we abandon parents before they're even ready to die. Why? We are all hungry to be loved. Did you know 1 Peter 2 is actually taken straight from Hosea? You know what the book of Hosea is about? Hosea is told by God to marry a prostitute named Gomer. I want to read a couple verses from Hosea, just here and there, just to give you a taste of what's going on and to give you a little bit of background to what Peter is driving at. Hosea chapter 1, verse 2. When the Lord first spoke through Hosea, a prophet, so what Hosea says and what Hosea does is a reflection of what's going on in the heavenlies and its connection and relationship with Israel and Judah and ultimately mankind, you and me. Go take yourself a wife of whoredom and have children. Now the question is, did Hosea go and marry a prostitute, an active prostitute? Chances are no. Chances are what the Lord was telling Hosea was she will turn on you and become a prostitute. We don't really know, but my gut tells me Hosea married a wife who turned to a prostitute and became a prostitute. Go take for yourself a wife of whoredom and have children of whoredom. For the land commits, so this is that connection. Great whoredom by forsaking the Lord. So she conceived her second child and bore a daughter, and the Lord said to him, Hosea 1, verses 6, and we'll go through like verse 9 or 10, call her name No Mercy. Why? Because I will no more have mercy. Watch this, guys. Watch this. This is astounding. I will no more have mercy on the house of, what's that word? Next word. Israel. All right, just watch the play of words here. To forgive them at all. No more, Israel. No more forgiveness. You ever expect those words to come from God? But I will have mercy on the house of Judah. So Judah was like a tribe. Israel and Judah broke off. And Judah was the line in which Jesus would be born through. I will have mercy on the house of Judah, and I will save them by the Lord their God. So now we're getting to this idea of a chosen race. I don't know if you're part of Judah's tribe, though. I don't know, man. I'm kind of scared, man. If I stopped here, I will not save them by bow or by sword or by war, by horses, or by horsemen. When she had weaned, no mercy. Imagine being called that. I'm going to call you no mercy. Nobody's going to want you. She conceived and bore a son. And the Lord said, call his name not my people. You're not my people. And I'm not your God. I almost can't swallow that. Unless he's starting to reset things. He's setting a stage here. No longer will your religious sacrificial duties do any good. Time to start over. Yet the number of the children of what? The people he just said he wasn't going to have mercy on shall be like the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or numbered. And in the place, you see what he just did? He moved you from the visible realm to the invisible realm. He moved you from the place in the life of this world to the life in the hidden life of God within you. He just shifted you from your old creation into your new creation. your old self into your new self. This is a reflection of life to come as soon as that veil was torn. And in the place where it was said to them, "You are not my people," it shall be, it will happen, it will be said, "You are children of the living God." It's incredible. He just wiped it all clean. I'm going to do the rescue myself. Religion will no longer have a place in my family. Judah and Israel, we're coming together and we are forming a family of God. Chapter 3, though. The Lord said to me, okay, guys, picture yourself as Hosea. Go marry a prostitute. Oh, let's just put it like, let's go marry a woman. She will turn on you. Ladies, you can flip this. I mean, it works both ways. Go marry a man. He's going to cheat on you. He's going to walk out on you. Hosea, go marry Gomer. She will walk out. You will catch her in the bed of another lover. Go again, though. Love a woman who is loved by another man, referring to Gomer. Love her, even though she's an adulteress, even as the Lord loves children of God. This is what the world has to offer. People who turn their backs. It's the natural instinct of the flesh to go find love. And in a place where God's not visible to the human eye, we will try to find that significance just about anywhere. Though they turn to other gods and they love cakes of raisins. I don't know, that makes me laugh, man. We got to throw in cakes of raisins. I want another Skittle now, man. It's just like, they love other gods. I get that. Oh, they love their cakes. But what is he pointing to, though? Just pointing to the flesh of the mankind. It will chase the senses to the end of the world. It'll chase its hunger. It'll chase the pleasures of the eye and the pleasures of touch and the pleasures of, because the flesh, through its senses, is deceived into believing it's finding love. So I bought her for 15 shekels of silver. Did you know a slave cost 30 shekels? Well, she was half off because she was used and abused. She was, what it's saying, worthless. I believe there was a slave that was gored by an ox was worth 15 shekels. But you're Hosea. You're Hosea. You got to, Hosea. Man, my Mexican names and biblical names get mixed up all the time. So I bought her for 15 shekels of silver. So go buy your wife back from the fake lover. Man, this is a picture. This is a picture of you. What has happened in your life? This is your story. He bought you back from a world that was claiming to be your lover, but it left you at a so-called safe place to die and rot. He bought you back not with 15 shekels of silver, but by selling his son for 30 and asking him to go to a cross. You are chosen to proclaim the excellencies of a Father who has called you out of darkness and into light. This question has been in my mind all week. What are you willing to sacrifice to proclaim that to someone? So this week, a couple weeks ago, my neighbor was working on his pond, and And I went over just to talk about his pond because, it's just guy talk, pond talk, whatever, right? You're digging a hole in the ground. That's awesome. I want a part of it. He goes, I have a lot of sludge in my pond. It needs to be dug out. Can you dig it out with your tractor? And I said, sure, man. And then I got in it and I realized that the sludge is just too deep. My tractor would sink straight to the bottom. I said, you need to go rent an excavator and dig out from the side. So he went and rented, but he rented a skid steer, which was not going to work. But I watched him for about 5 days with the skid steer try to get to the sludge. And he just couldn't get in it. Every time he tried to get in it, he sunk his skid steer. And I knew it was rental. Every time I drove by, I could see the rental sticker on it, and my heart just started saying, man, just go and help him. Just give it a shot. So Saturday afternoon, I went over there and I said, look, man, I know you're probably a couple days left on this rental. I said, let me give it a shot, my tractor. And sure enough, the tractor's so tired, the wheels work better than track system and mud and whatnot. And so I'm able to get in it, and I'm scooping out the sludge, and it's working. I'm kind of feeling really good, man. It's like the hero of the neighborhood, the tractor guy. And I've got about 80% of it out, and we stop, and we're chit-chatting. He said, it's good, man, you're done. And I said, no, man, I got one more bucket. It's just one more spot of sludge. If I could dig this out, man, I would feel really good about myself, and like I did Jesus' work that day. So I drive in, and the tractor just sunk. Now, every time I've sunk in my tractor, I've been able, with the tractor, dig myself out. Not this time. It was down in there. And I'm starting to smell mud as it's all in the engine compartment. I was just breathing through it, starting to tell myself, why do I help people on my one day off? All right? So he hooks up his skid steer, and I chain it up to my tractor. He jerks and jerks and jerks. It's not budging, man. His skid steer is small. And so I go, well, let me go get my skid steer and bring it back 4 times the size of the one he had. And now I've got a problem. Which one is he going to drive? Because either way, if this thing goes south, I'm sacrificing one piece of equipment. And I put him in the skid steer, and I said, just watch hand signals. And I attached the chain to what was called the 3-point hitch in the back. All right, the frame's underground, so I have only my 3-point hitch, and it's hydraulics and levers. It's not what you want to pull out with. That's all I got. And we hook up, and I said, just creep, and we'll get this thing out. And sure enough, he creeps, and it's coming out, and I'm feeling good. And I give him I forgot to tell him what the signals were. So I'm giving him the stop signal, and I think he's thinking it's the go signal because he guns it more, and it wasn't working. I was out, but I'm hearing metal break and all sorts of stuff. We get it out. I finally gave him the cut off the head signal, which is, clear is to any guy what that means. And we got out. I was pretty frustrated as I look at the back of my tractor and just see mangled metal and things hanging and stuff. And I remember just getting so mad. Why help people? Why? I've worked so hard for this stuff. I've got, just a lot of money in it. And just sludge, man. And I kept telling myself, it's just metal, man, Greg. At the end of the day, just chill out. It's just metal. You got that back and forth, but it's still, man, I've worked so hard, and just trying to keep it cool in front of the guy. And he heard the 4-letter words come out. All right, man, blew my witness, right? No chance of saving this guy. He walks over. So he said, well, what can I do to help you out? I said, well, I'm building a pole barn for Bible study, whatever. Now, he goes, I'm an electrician. Let me help you wire it. And I said, that's fine. I said, but I didn't do this for help. I just saw you needed help, whatever. And a couple days ago, he comes over because I haven't forgotten about helping you build your pole barn. I'm gonna get the trencher. We're gonna trench this out and get your lights up and all that. He goes, but my brother's in the hospital and he has surgery tomorrow. And I just need you to pray for him. He may not live through it. And it's like that instant, that question was asked, what am I willing to pay to tell a guy you belong? Because to me, the limit was about my 3-point hitch. And hopefully not anymore. What are you willing to give up to proclaim the excellencies of the Father? To tell a neighbor that he's loved. He's loved. We're praying for you. Because you're going to run into people this week. It's easy. Words are easy. But when their tractor or